With quarantine and COVID happening, our previous home felt pretty small. I went from traveling 24/7 to being basically at home, and it was a big change for us to the point where the house just felt small. It felt more like a box than anything else. So we considered moving. We considered other cities and whatnot, but as we were going through that process, we just happened to be driving down the street, looking at.
We're actually looking at another house right down the street, just literally one block over, and I actually didn't even want to go to the house. He had like sent it to me, and I didn't even like it from the pictures. But he was like, no, we have to go. I really think it's going to be great. It's in a good neighborhood. And so it was after I had gotten off work, so it was late. It was already dark, and we happened to be driving down this street, and we noticed a realtor sign that said coming soon, like basement included, I think is all it said, and it gave a phone number. And we could only see the outside, and like I said, it was dark, so there wasn't a lot of light, and I don't think any lights outside were turned on, so we quickly just kind of glanced at the house. We noticed the size of the property more so of the land, and that's what we were really aiming for, especially with 2 dogs and being able to have them run around. And so we jotted down the number really quick and literally called the next morning.
I think we texted the number, I believe, and it was David that answered.
Yeah.
And he said, come on over. And our property was only 5 minutes away. So then he invited us over, and we got to see how they were working on stuff. And
yeah.
I think right on the spot, we asked, how much you guys want for the house, and we said yes. Like let's make an offer. Like it didn't even hit the market. We fell in love with it. It was basically an open canvas for us, because it was just basically. I think at that point there was no cabinets. The walls haven't been painted.
No.
The floors had just been put in. So it kind of gave us that opportunity to kind of make it our own and add the last details that we really wanted.
None of the bathrooms were done. The kitchen was literally completely blank. And we got to add nice little finishes, the things we wanted. The original kitchen was a slightly different design, and I'm pretty picky. And we had looked at some new builds as well, but in order to customize to get a new build, in order to get customizations, you need to do a new build. But the new build property sizes are a lot smaller. So again, it was the size of the lot more so than the house. We love the outside of the house. It's very Spanish style. It's very southwestern, I guess. So
and it's really green, I think, and that's kind of what we like, the mature trees and stuff like that. Especially being in Vegas, right? Like it just kind of made us feel like we got to go away without having to leave.
Yes.
And for our dogs specifically, it just gave them a lot of room to run around, and even for me, it gave me somewhere to go during the day and just have a different perspective on things. So it sort of worked out overall.
Yeah. And the whole process was really seamless. I mean, like I said, they let us make some fine-tuning adjustments to the kitchen, and we got to pick out all the cabinet colors, all the granite that we wanted, the hardware, the appliances that we wanted. One of my big things is we wanted a double oven, because we have a lot of guests over usually for family stuff and holidays, and so we really wanted that double oven. And the kitchen really didn't have a spot for it, but we ended up extending our oven from a regular 36-inch stove to a 48, and so that obviously pushed everything around. But coming in as early as we did, it allowed us to do that and make these modifications so it could fit our family's needs.
Yeah, and it was kind of great for us though, because David and Eric, both of them, just kind of always asked us questions as we were going through it. So any major decision, they just kind of like brought us in and.
I mean, all the way down to like the toilet paper holders. It was the mirrors, everything we got to pick out, which was great, because usually even in new homes, like a lot of those things you won't get to pick out.
I think for me, my favorite part of the house is the deck upstairs, especially because out of my office, I get to kind of go outside and just take a breather and take the dogs with me, and it's just nice to be up there and kind of get to see around the neighborhood and the size of the lot, and see how nice, and kind of gives you that, I don't know, second wind to kind of be like, hey, like I should keep working, because this is all sort of paying off. So
my favorite place in the house is probably the kitchen, just because that's where a lot of people end up congregating, and we have 4 bar stools incorporated into that area, and a lot of our friends, when they come over, it's just another couple or something, and we can all just kind of stand around the island, and it makes it very homey.
We pretty much lucked out, because like we said, the house we were looking at before, I was attracted to it because it had a big lot in the front. It was pretty far away from everything else. Then When we looked at this house, in comparison to everything that we had seen at that point, being able to have our own privacy and, that for us was critical, right? So I think we were fortunate to find a big lot.
Yeah, I mean, we had looked at other lots. I mean, we looked at new builds or nearly new builds that were only like 2 years old in these subdivisions right outside of Vegas or, in Henderson area, Summerlin. And I mean, they would have a pool in the backyard, but you would walk outside 2 feet, the pool would be there all the way up to your property line at the back. So it was just, and I mean, with dogs, you need a place for them to go, run around. And so for us, it just didn't make sense. And I mean, we have space on either side of our house, in the front and the back. And I mean, you just don't find that in Vegas. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah, so I think, there's pockets of houses here and there, and this one just perfectly centralized for us.
And I love that it's not a cookie cutter house either. A lot of these newer subdivisions, you'll have 4 styles of homes from the outside. So you'll drive through the neighborhood, and while they're beautiful, they just weren't, our style. I don't like where everyone's house, every 4th house is the exact same. So again, we got our unique layout, our unique outside of the house, with a big lot, which is more than we could have ever asked for.
Plus we have a basement, which is super rare here in town anyway, so that's been pretty fun so far. So the basement actually has worked out perfectly for us. So we have 2 rooms downstairs for our guests, and we have a kind of a Jack and Jill bathroom, and one connects to one room, and then the other one's sort of open for the community area. But we've sort of turned it into our workout area, and it's been kind of nice because it makes you really keep the first floor and the second floor. It's actually the house, and then the basement's sort of been our guest quarters and kind of our workout area.
One of his friends actually needed to stay with us for about 6 weeks, and our guest room is in the basement, and our master is on the top floor. So, I mean, half the time it didn't even feel like he was here because it's just isolated, but they have their own area, they have their own bathroom, plenty of space down there to, their own couch down there and whatnot. So plenty of space for guests, and then to not be on top of each other.
Yeah, like specifically because both of us work from home, so both of us have conference calls and stuff like that. So him being able to be downstairs and me able to be upstairs, we didn't get to make noise for each other, and it was just nice to not feel like you're kind of hosting somebody for 8 hours a day, like 24 hours a day, and then just be able to reconvene at the end of the day. So I think it gave him space, and it gave me space to just feel like I wasn't on top of each other. So it really worked out. I mean, we lucked out with the basement, and it's fully renovated. We were just driving back from, I think, dinner, and we were just saying how fortunate we are to have this house, and it kind of feels like you're actually coming home. And we drive in, and it's just kind of like, I can't believe this is our home. We're extremely lucky to have found this, and I've had such a, if anything, great experience just putting it together and being able to put our own details on it, rather than having to buy something and then having to recut it and go through all that. So I don't know, it just feels like home. It just feels easy to come home to, and it sort of just reminds you every time you go through the driveway, just, wow, like this is our house.
At the end of the day, this house is for us, but it's also for our friends and family, and it gives us the perfect place to congregate and in so many locations: the backyard, the family room, the kitchen, the basement. So we have endless possibilities here, which is, again, more than we could have ever asked for. So we feel very, very fortunate.
So as far as projects go, this one it took a lot of effort. We spent over $100,000 in renovations, and it took us just about 78 days to do.
They were very proactive about reaching out and hey, we have these 3 selections. Is this anything that you like, or do you have something in mind? So a lot of it, I think.
And we weren't limited to those 3 choices. If we didn't like any of those 3 choices, we could go out and be like, no, we like this one. And they'd say, okay, right away. Like, it was no big deal. And like I said, everything from the chandeliers to the toilet paper holders, I mean, they let us pick out, which is the beauty of it. So, everything would be customized to us, the buyers.
Yeah, so I think, it was really smooth. I can't think of anything that...
No, they were super responsive, and overall just a great experience. Growing up, my parents built houses, so I know the process of building from the ground up and picking out everything and finding the architect and all of that, and this was seamless. So we're very, very grateful.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have another experience like this.
It's probably
If
not.
we ever buy another house or build another one. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think the whole thing was just, if anything, perfect time, perfect spot. You know, just perfect everything.
Yeah.
So pretty happy.